Hey there, King and Kings family. We are especially happy and excited to be here with you today because for months we have been talking about how excited we are for King and King's new multi-site efforts, our new campus that we're going to have in Northwest Omaha, and it was all hypothetical at that point. We didn't have a location. We knew where generally we were going to be, but now we've got that little pinpoint on the map. We know exactly where it's going to be. And in January, we announced that we'd secured a contract with Concordia Jr. Senior High School, which will serve as our Northwest campus starting this fall. To talk through this development more with me are two people who made it happen. Julie Easley, the executive director at King Kings, and really the driving force behind all things multi-site, and Peter Bay, who will be the Northwest campus director. Welcome, guys. How pumped are you about this news?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, really, for such a long time, there was just a question mark there, and just to know that's where we're going to be, and it's such a sweet situation. I'm thrilled. I am.
Yeah, and I do need to walk you back a little bit because I bear very little to no responsibility for getting this incredible location. I'm very grateful for it. It's going to be an awesome fit for King Kings and for me. But I think credit first and foremost goes to God on that one.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
And then Julie Easley.
and that's actually where I want to start because I want to talk a little bit about how this all came together. Now, one of our 4 core values at King Kings here is reliant. And we had to be pretty reliant in this project because our timeline kept creeping closer and closer, and some of the places that we were looking at that had a lot of potential, God closed those doors, and he was like, nope, that's not the one. And it was discouraging at times. But Julie, I'd love for you to just kind of talk about the process of how all this came together to this exciting point where we feel like this is a better option than anything else we looked at.
Yeah, that's so true. So we had, like you mentioned, we had looked at a couple of different sites, but nothing felt exactly right for us, and just had a lot of pause on some of the places that we were considering, or they just didn't work out for us. And as some of you may know, we have a core team that has been put together for our Northwest campus. This is an awesome group of people, around 20 people who just said, hey, we're committed to Northwest campus. We're going to be attending for 2 years. We're going to be serving and giving. We're going to be in connect groups, and we're just all in with Peter. And we had been meeting with this core team, and one of the things that we had been wanting to do was just to pray, right, over this whole situation. And one of our core team members said, hey, why don't we do a prayer walk around some of these? It wasn't. It was Ryan Dean Birch.
It was Ryan Dean?
Yep.
Oh, well,
yeah, he
I'll
said,
give
why
Frank
don't we
credit as well.
Yeah, he's an awesome prayer.
Ryan Dean. That's great.
And so he said, why don't we go around some of these places where we're considering and do a prayer walk? And, that sounded fantastic. The thing is, if you're a bunch of people walking around a building at night that you're not affiliated with, it just feels a little dicey.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? Concordia Jr. Senior is right in that sweet spot of where we want to be. Maybe we could just pray generally there. So I called someone over at Concordia and said, hey, would it be possible for us to do a prayer walk there? Well, this person happened to be the wife of the head of schools at Concordia. And when she heard that we were looking for a place for our Northwest campus, her ears perked up because of the church that had been there previously was no longer going to be using Concordia as a space for them. And so she contacted her husband and said, hey, did you hear about this? King of Kings is interested in being in this Northwest area, and that's kind of how the ball all started rolling.
So, I feel like this is one of those opportunities where God didn't reveal his whole plan in the moment.
Right.
And now when we step back, we can see the little breadcrumbs that he was leaving that kind of made this trail for us to follow that led us to Concordia. I mean, how cool is that for you guys as you've gone through a couple of years of work here to be able to, yes, there were moments of frustration, but hey, God was moving in a powerful way. And he was directing us, sometimes in little ways, sometimes in large ways, to take these steps of faith forward that got us to this point.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times we say that God's timing is perfect, and sometimes we're like, but is it? But we know that in truth, but this is one of those times when the timing was perfect, just perfect for us to partner with them, because the church that had been there was not going to be there anymore. And that had literally transpired probably within a week or two of all of that. So God knew where he wanted us to be, but the timing had to be right. And the thing that I love about this too, and I just want to kind of emphasize this, is that God has good plans for all the churches in Omaha. So we're not we are definitely blessed, but we're not any more blessed than any other churches. God's love and care extends to every church. So I just wanted to throw that in there as well.
Yeah. And what I would add is this is what was kind of wild is, so we ended up praying on the ground that God was going to give us. We didn't even know it.
Yep.
So as the team was walking around that campus praying, God was, I almost picture God just kind of like smiling and
I know,
kind of chuckling at us.
So good.
And with the timing thing, I would say that God's timing is perfect, but we don't always get to see it.
Right.
This is one where it's like, oh,
so obvious.
I see it now.
Yes.
So when will King of Kings start having Sunday programming at Concordia?
Yeah. So we're going to soft launch in September. That's where we're going to get all those kinks out and figure all that out. And then the official launch will be October of 2023. It's coming up.
So when you say soft launch, that just means like a like maybe the core team of people will be meeting there?
The core team, the launch team. We'll make sure that our procedures and all the equipment's working properly. And since this is going to be a live stream campus where we'll have live music and kids programming and tons of community there on Sundays, but the message itself will be a live stream of whoever is teaching at I Street. So that's exciting. We'll get to hear from Pastor Greg and Zach and Mike on a regular basis. And this will set us up for future campuses as well, where no matter what King of Kings you're at, whether it's here in Omaha or in Antarctica, you'll hear the same preaching. There will be some familiar voices in that regard. So because of that, though, there's certain technological things that we just have to make sure are working well. So we'll soft launch through September, make sure those are working well, so that when we open the doors in October, we're ready.
Did you just drop a secret there that our third campus is going to be in Antarctica?
Oh, Julie, how do you feel about that?
Peter?
Wow.
Okay, so where on Concordia's campus will King of Kings meet, and what is it about that space that you think really sets us up for success?
Yeah, so we will start in October. We will be meeting in the auxiliary gym. This is a good space because it's not too big. They have a wonderful performance gym at Concordia, and that's where they have 2 full-size basketball courts and seating for 1,000 or more. That is not ideal for us because if you put 200, 300 people in 1,000 people spot,
feels real empty real fast.
Yeah, real lonely. Also, the performance gym, controlling the light in there and the mood in there is going to be harder. So
And the sound.
And the sound, yeah, it'll be cavernous and echoey. Whereas the auxiliary gym will have a little bit more control with that. It'll be a little more intimate. And so that's going to be a really good place for us to start. Concordia is they're in progress with a huge remodel. The kindergartners through 5th graders are joining them on campus starting next school year. And with that comes a big remodel to that school. And so one of the things they'll be remodeling is a multi-use space. It'll have a gym floor, but it'll also be their auditorium for musicals and plays. And that'll be where we will get to move into once that's completed.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting.
It is just unbelievable to think. I remember when Concordia first opened, I think I might have even been in middle school, maybe high school, but it was like so tiny, and it was like classes of like 6 or 7 kids, and to see what it's grown into now and just how it continues to grow and that we get to be a part of that is just such a blessing. So we got this campus secured. That's super exciting. But now we got to tell people about it. We got to make sure not only our people here at King of Kings know, but the community knows that, hey, there's a new church here and it's in your neighborhood. And if you are looking for a place to worship, we would love for you to come and check it out. So, Julie, what are we doing here at King of Kings to help get the word out about the Northwest campus?
Yeah, so I think there are two different ways that we're approaching it. The first is kind of through the whole social media vein of things. So we're going to have a Facebook page, sort of stuff happening on Instagram to let the community know that we're coming to the Northwest area, that we're for families. I think that's going to be a huge thing. The other thing that we're going to do just to build awareness is we're going to have a bunch of awesome events that are going to be happening between March and really October. A lot of them are going to be at the Northwest campus at Concordia. We're going to have food trucks. We're having, so good.
Let's go.
We're having a kite day. Some of the biggest kites in the United States are going to be flying over the Concordia campus, our Northwest campus, in June, at the end of June 24th.
So when you think of kite day, don't think of like my kids have a Berenstain Bear book where they like make a kite and fly at a kite day. Like don't think of that. But think of literally like Berenstain Bear, like 60-foot version of him, like parade float.
Yes.
Kites.
I saw a picture of this on Facebook of the type of kites we're going to have, and it was like as big as a bus. And I was like, that's not a kite. That's like a UFO.
I know. They're huge.
It's going to be outrageous.
Yeah. So we'll have that happening in June. We'll have a parents' night out. We'll be hosting there just for parents in the community. We're having a concert in the park in July. Names Without Numbers is going to be there. Dave Owens, who leads our worship team, is part of a band, a fantastic band. And we'll have a concert in the park there at Concordia. Lots to do. So just a ton of fun activities to kind of raise awareness that we're in the neighborhood.
Love it. Peter, this is kind of coming full circle for you going back to Concordia because you've got a history there. How crazy is it that you'll be working so closely with Concordia once more?
Yeah. The phrase "you have a history" there can also be pretty negative.
That made it sound bad.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it that way.
I wasn't arrested at Concordia. I taught there. Yes, I taught there prior to coming here to King of Kings. So it is wild coming full circle. It's kind of a homecoming in some ways for me to return to that campus. There are some of the teachers that I worked with 10 years ago that are still there.
That's so cool.
And when I go there, it feels like a homecoming. A lot of fun, a lot of familiar and friendly faces. And my kids attend there. Next year, I'll have a kindergartner and a second and a third grader on that campus as well. So lots of teachers and families that I know well and many more that I'll get to know well.
Yeah, I love that you're like coming in already, sounds weird to say, as a known commodity, but a lot of people already know you. It's not like, oh, here comes this brand new guy parachuting. It's like, oh, that's Peter. We know Peter.
Right.
Sweet. I'll attend there. I think that's really cool.
Well, and I've been blessed to be able to do chapels there.
Yep.
Just earlier this year, I got to be the MC for their gala. So yeah, it's fun to get involved in a place where I know the teachers and community well.
Mm-hmm. So this is all obviously very exciting that we know where the Northwest campus is going to be. A lot of work has been done to get there, but there's still a lot of work that has to be done and a lot of plans that have to be made. Guys, just in the coming months as we prepare to open this campus, what can people be praying specifically for to make sure that God is in this and this is a successful launch?
Yeah, I think we're still looking for a couple people to fill staff spots at Northwest. We're looking for a part-time campus kidsman director, so that be in prayer for that. Also a campus worship director. That's a full-time job, kind of overseeing worship and tech. Speaking of tech, right, there's just a ton of things that need to happen at I Street to get it ready to be a broadcast campus, and then also has to happen at the Northwest campus. As you may know, I think everybody knows right now, supply chain issues still loom large. And so just that everything would come in as it needs to, and that that would all come together I'm just praying for our relationship with Concordia. It is fantastic, and we're praying to keep it that way. And then I think for me, just praying for Peter and the core team, that the Holy Spirit would just be preparing them for this whole new thing. It's really exciting.
Yeah, with that, I talked to a church planner who's planted several churches out in Texas just last week, and he was telling me how he's seen it as a theme that almost every single time that Satan has attacks on the church leaders as well as the core families.
Mm.
And so he said if there's more sickness in the core families than they're used to, or there's challenges or cars are going kaput in awkward times, like expect that almost. And so, be praying for me and my wife, Carista. Be praying for our kids, Benton, Jada, and Remy. Be praying for our core families, that God would protect us, that we would be coming together, that we would, as people around may have questions of like, maybe they haven't totally caught on to the vision of what's going on. There could be doubt that creeps into people's minds whenever you're doing something new. And in our context, in our synod, there aren't many churches doing this.
Right.
So when you're getting on the edge of something new, it can be scary. It can be challenging. And so be praying for courage. It's one of our values.
Love that.
That we would have that as we're reliant on God as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of asks that we have of God in the coming months and honestly coming years. But I also wanted to just throw out there praise.
For sure.
Praise God for this, because this is turned out to be such a blessing that we didn't foresee even as recently as a few months ago. And now it's so exciting to think about the future and what's going to happen. We're going to wrap it up there today, but we will have plenty more podcast content. We'll be talking more multi-site, especially as we get closer, kind of what some of the nuts and bolts look like. It's going to be really exciting. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you, listeners, for joining us on another episode of Beyond Sunday. Let's continue to live our lives beyond Sunday.